Hi everyone, Julie here and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Back again in Dxo PhotoLab7, and I thought in this week's video we can cover off the color panel. So that's the one that's got the three circles here, and anything to do with color. So that's color grading, color matching, adding toning, things like that. You will find that in the color panel. So starting at the top and working our way through, again we've got these question marks. So remember, if you click on the question mark, it will give you a overview of what the settings do. So you've got wide gamut here, that was introduced in PhotoLab 6. It's adjustments are applied in a wide gamut color space. Conversion from your sensor's native color to working color has been optimized. Or you can go into Legacy, which was the original PhotoLab 5 color space, which were applied in Adobe RGB in RAW or things like that. So I'm actually going to go and select Classic Legacy and turn that off, and then I'm going to go and have a look of, I'm going to work with this gorgeous image of Burlesque dancer Skye to start with, and I'm going to go and have a look. Now the first thing I do want to do, because this is annoying, is I just want to give it a bit of a crop. So I'm just going to go into the geometry panel and give that roughly a 7x5. I'm going to crop that in and I'm going to close that. So it was just a little bit distracting. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go through and work my way through it. Now this was shot in studio against a black velvet backdrop with studio lights, and I can leave it as shot. I can change it to different settings. Now I don't necessarily like what some of these are doing. Daylight's making it very yellow, cloudy, again yellow, tungsten is actually probably closer to what I had it naturally. Fluorescent, again everything's a bit yellow. Flash, some people say you should use flash if you're using flash, but no, I don't like it. And then there's shade, so I could leave it as shot. I could come and get my white color picker and I can pick a really light color within this shot and adjust it to that, but I'm not sure that I really like that either. So I'm going to go and do undo and go back to where it was. I can manually play with this. So for instance, I quite like shooting at about 5600, but as you can see, that makes it very yellow as well. So I'm going to leave it as shot for the moment, but I just thought I would go through this panel. Color rendering, so we can either have it as color or black and white. We can do a generic type rendering, we can change the intensity, we can protect saturated colors, and we can calibrate for a particular color profile. So I can come in if I want to. I can select it from the camera body. I can put in particular color film packs. So if I go in there, I didn't shoot with a Canon, I can assure you. I shot with a Sony. They haven't got the R5 in there yet, but I'm sure it's coming. So I can set it up for the R4, which is almost identical to the R5. I can change the intensity. I can ask it to protect the saturated colors, but there's this lovely sort of peach tone to these feathers. So I can also, if I want to, I can go into different cinematic looks. So there is faded green and pink, desaturated, there's autumn. So these are some film packs that are loaded. Don't necessarily like what it did to the image, but I'm sure if you play around with intensities, you might be able to find something that you like for your image. So I'm just going to go back to the camera body. And I'm going to boost the intensity up. And as you can see, it has boosted the saturation of the color in there. I could, if I wanted to, of course, go to black and white. There are various different film packs that you can use for black and white, which can also do a really, really nice rendering. So these are different film packs that you could select. And of course, again, you can change the intensity. Obviously, the color profiles aren't protected because we're in black and white, but you could do that if you wish to. Again, going back into that's just the one thing that does bug me. If you want to jump from one to one, I mean, I can come through with the editor, but sometimes it's when you've been playing with a lot of things, it's really hard to find what you would like. There's also the Dxo film pack. If you have the film pack, you will find it loaded in here. I won't go through it right now. I did a video which I'll link below, which is the walkthrough of using the film pack time machine. So that is there too. The LUT color grading, for whatever reason, is not currently working. It says here it's only available in the wide gamut color space. So if I go back up the top and go into the wide color, then I should be able to turn the color grading on. You can put in, there's a lot of different color grading that you can use as a lookup table, and you can play with some of those that can give you some really nice sort of different looks that you can use. But of course, you don't have to use any of them. If you are using them, don't forget you can change the intensity like you can with everything. So that's that. Another thing that I really love is the split toning. Now, oops, if I go up a little bit, you might be able to read what I'm talking about. So split toning allows you to apply certain predefined effects. So you can do simple toning, so that lets you set a predefined toning to the whole image, and I'll show you in a minute. There's different styles, so you can have black and white, landscape, portrait, or sepia. You can adjust the highlights, the shadows, the hue, the saturation, and things like that. You can also do split toning, which is another one which is fabulous, especially if you are playing around with black and white images and you want to or I should say even just vintage images, and you want to add a split tone, so you can have, you know, one color in your shadows and one color in your highlights. So that's that. But let's go and have a little look. So if we wanted to do simple toning, like I said, there's different, so I could go to gold or selenium, which is one of my favorites as well. If you popped back up here and changed your image to black and white, and then come down to here, you would get a really, really beautiful black and white with an overall tone. So there's sepia, you've got ferric sulfates, you've got some beautiful, beautiful tonings that you can use, and you can change the intensity. So if you want just a hint of color to your black and white image, you can do that. If you want to keep to color, you don't have to use a simple toning. You can come into split toning. Now it looks pretty horrible just at the moment, but you have got, again, all the sepia, the gold, selenium, etc. that you can pick, or you can go into custom. and that allows you to then change for the highlights, the shadows, and you can split between the two. So for instance, in the highlights, if I wanted to go say yellow and bring the saturation down a little bit and bring the intensity down, I can then go into the shadows, and again I can pick a custom color, and this time I'm going to go into blue, again bring the saturation down, bring the intensity down, and that gives you split toning in your image. So you can put one color into your shadows, one color into your highlights, and you can boost and play around with that. This does tend to give a beautiful vintage look to your colored images by putting the blue in the shadows, yellow in the highlights. But of course, if you wanted to, you could put gold in your highlights, and you could put sepia into your shadows, or vice versa. You can play around, you can do whatever you want to the toning within your images. Now the next one is super cool, and I might just find another image because I really want the colors to pop. Let's go with this image here. Again, I'm just going to go in and do a little crop. Because I don't want all that distracting background. Okay, close and back into color. So what I love about the HSL panel is that it gives you so many options to play with. Now obviously the red is going to be the main color here, and I can adjust that so that it's more of a pinky red, or I can adjust that so that it's more of an orange red. But if I grab these sliders here and move them around, I can now grab that red and I can change it to just about any color I want. So I can go more green, more purple, more blue. I can change the color completely. Of course, you don't have to. If you just want to, I'm just going to come back into here. If I just want to boost the intensity of the color or make it darker, I can do that here. So I'm going to make that more of a pink maybe, but I can play around with it. Now if I go back, I'm just going to reset that again. So maybe I just want to boost the saturation. I can do that from here. If you double click the white, it will reset. Maybe I want to increase or decrease the luminance. So I want the saturation boosted a little bit, but I also want it to be darker. I can play with the luminance here as well. So there's so many options in the HSL panel. It is fabulous, and it's only going to be applied to that particular color. If I change everything, it will apply to, say, the reds and skin tones and things like that. But if I wanted to go to any of the other channels, perhaps say, and I can use the color picker to pick a channel, and this is more in the oranges, so I can boost that up a little bit if I want to, or I can drop it down so it's not as orange. So you can go through and you can pick all the colors that are in your image and play with them that way. Okie dokie. Then we've got the channel mixer itself. If we click on that, so the channel mixer for black and white lets you fine tune your image conversion. So if we were to go back and change it to a black and white image, we can come into the channel mixer and we can still boost the colors. So even though it's black and white, we can play with the channels in the image. So I grabbed the reds and I made them much, much darker, but it hasn't really affected the rest of the image. Oops, just need to put that down. I can brighten up other aspects of the image, such as skin tones. Things like the greens and that probably aren't going to do much difference. Same with the cyans, the blues, although there is a little bit of blue in that background, so I might drop that. And then the magentas, again, probably not much difference. But you can, if you've got other colors within your image, you can boost them by using the channel mixer on a black and white layer. Okie dokie. So then you've got soft proofing, which it says if you want to continue to edit, they recommend doing it on a virtual copy, which of course you can do, and that gives you the white around the image. Now, I want to go full frame. That's the button I wanted to hit. So that gives you your soft proofing. So hitting escape will bring me back to there. I just want it to fit back on. Fit. Thank you. So you can turn the soft proofing off. You don't need that here or there. I'm going to go back in and turn that back into color. And because I have mucked around with various things, I don't necessarily like where it's ended up. So let's go back into black. Now, I've got an awful lot of mess and things like that that I need to clean up in this image, which I'm might go and have a little look at now, and go in and clean it up. I'm going to use try the repair tool. This could take me a while, so I might just speed this up. Okay, so I'm still working my way through. Of course, if you want to get behind that panel, just hit the little arrow to get rid of it. But this is pretty much what I wanted to show you for today, which was just working in the color panel. If you want to go back and have a look at working in the light panel, I will leave that in the comments for the link for it, or you can jump into YouTube in the playlist and you'll find all the videos for Dxo PhotoLab7 in the playlist. So next video we're going to have a look at the detail panel, and we're going to work our way through. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, maybe even save it for later, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. So that's it, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.